Ta-da! I think we might be live now.
You think we might be?
Okay. We might be.
Somebody was there like, I'm on the YouTube page and I don't know what's going on. I was like, well, we haven't started yet, so.
No, we are live now. We should be.
Super I haven't got a
How is everybody? There it
okay,
is.
like, almost every recording of me has me asking, like, am I being recorded right now?
Every time, actually.
that can be awkward in some scenes, but okay.
None of those videos.
It's like she knows what's going on then.
It's making me watch an ad on my own channel.
Me too.
What?
I'm like, hey, there we go. Alright, so around the room. Well, hold on. You know
Just
what?
start with you.
No.
And go this way.
We don't have anybody watching yet.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Kind of chit-chat for a second.
Alright, we'll wait for people.
Introduce.
Just a little bit, yeah.
He's wanting people to be on and watching before we do it.
Well, I know Amber does a pretty good job of like sharing everything.
That's
so
what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's like
No,
number one.
I don't want to discover YouTube music app. Thank you, but no.
I feel like I
Mom
need
said,
to...
do you want to become a member of this channel? I was like, no, I'll just give money myself. That's how that works.
That's how this works.
Okay, so number one, we have a cat here, so that's got to count for something, right?
Yeah.
That's 0. He can't hear anything. Watch. That's pretty neat.
Yes, it's pretty neat, except for the people that are watching or listening on headphones, in which case they just got 3 loud explosions.
Oh, sorry.
in their ears.
0.
Okay,
He's deaf.
It's like
I'll
either.
watch myself.
It's
Yeah.
I was just about to say.
No, I'd say that out loud. Yeah, Lonnie, thanks for giving everybody the clap.
my man.
That's hers,
Hey,
not
at
mine.
least he's wearing a mask
I
this
was like,
time.
wait. I said I was.
At least I'm wearing protection for a change.
Yeah, at least he's wearing freaking a mask.
Oh my.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I don't want to give anything to anybody.
Goodness.
You don't want to give anything to anybody. That's perfectly fine. We don't want you to give anything to us either, so it's all good.
Hey, in my defense, I was in the hospital like 3 weeks ago with an ear infection, and I was like, hey, let's do a full blood work, make sure I'm not contagious.
We have 3 people watching right now, which is probably me and her and somebody
and
else.
me.
Right, it's all of us watching each other.
Okay, so
I just shared it on my Facebook page, so it's
we're gonna go ahead and do this, I guess. Around the room. Number one, this is the first time in 2020 that more than 2 people have been on a live stream.
This is the first time we've had a really good live stream altogether.
Yep.
It's
it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. It's been a while.
It's been I think the last time we had a big group, it was this same group, wasn't it?
Except Sarah was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
Who's she?
not
We
me.
can't call her single
You
Sarah
weren't
anymore.
here. It was Sarah instead of you.
Okay.
Because
I
we had the
remember
picture.
doing one with you though.
We did one together, but it was a long time ago.
Okay.
It was, I think, like Metropolitan Con rap.
No, I wouldn't have been involved in that.
No, we did.
Maybe it was Conduga rap.
Rock band?
Yeah.
Rock band or something. No.
Have you ever taken part in a rock band?
No, I haven't. And we can't call Sarah single Sarah anymore.
Always
She's
say I
like
hate the
spoken
drums,
for
but
Sarah
sometimes-
now.
Ah,
or something
perfect.
like that.
That's we've been looking
Spoken
for her
for
name.
Spoken
Sarah.
for Sarah.
For Sarah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yes.
finally bagged her.
Okay,
Wow.
Wow, that was a bad phrasing.
Wow.
What the
Okay,
hell?
so,
Sarah's not
let's do
watching.
this.
Like, oh
Hello,
my
everybody,
God.
ladies and gentlemen. We are Untitled Nerd Network.
Okay, everybody knows who I am because I've been streaming Mario 35 for the past, 2 weeks. I'm Lonnie.
Clock of
Hello.
Calamity.
And Relicious.
I'm Mark.
I'm Jordan the Wildness, playing with a cat.
0.
Okay.
Listen, if you play with your cat on some channels, they get you banned.
Yeah, we need to be careful of that.
I did that on my OnlyFans. It worked.
Just don't play with him too hard.
Look, I said I would behave, and you guys are.
I put you by the wrong person.
I was never asked to
Honestly.
behave. What the hell?
Listen, the one that gets in trouble in the group is behaving, okay?
No, nobody's gonna take us seriously
I
if
don't
we
get
just
in
talk
trouble.
about.
They're just like,
No,
she
we're-
stars in
They'll go there being
We're a group
adult
of nerds. Okay, first
videos.
off, there's a rule. Whenever a group of nerds get together, one, if they ever stay on topic, something is wrong with the universe fundamentally.
They're being
Yeah.
held hostage.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. If this stream were to come on and we were to be all serious, be like, hi, yes, we're Untitled Nerd Network, and we are here to call the cops.
We are here
There's
with
somebody
a
right over here with a
very
gun.
serious
Somebody over
topic.
there with a rifle. It's not...
That's our cry for help.
Yes.
Oh, but before we even get into anything, okay, if you wear your mask like this and it doesn't cover your nose, you're a fucking idiot. I just want to throw that out there.
He
You
says,
ever watch the South Park episode about the pandemic?
No, I have not yet.
Oh,
Yes, he was like, oh, don't be wearing a diaper.
It was so good.
It was pretty good.
I want to watch it because I'm a huge
How
Cartman
many
fan,
seasons
so I
is
want to
that?
see.
Have you
Hey
guys,
there,
I
Nick.
feel like
Welcome.
I'm 40.
Yeah.
have you guys actually seen somebody remove their mask to cough in the grocery store?
Yes.
I
Oh
haven't.
my
So-
god. So now I haven't, and I'm glad I haven't, because I think at that point that's where I draw the line and have to say something.
No, the
Yeah.
one that gets
Like,
the one that gets
Excuse
me. The one that gets me
Right.
is the people who bitch and moan about the fact that they can't breathe in a mask,
Mm-hmm.
and then like 5 minutes later you see them outside smoking.
Mm-hmm.
oh, yes.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Just, I was like, wait.
It's like, well, that's probably why you can't breathe in a mask.
I also like the ones.
Like,
My favorite are the ones that are like, I can't breathe in this mask, and then later their Facebook status updates are, I can't breathe because I have COVID and my
Yeah.
lungs are full of fluid.
yeah.
They were always like, oh, if you can't breathe with a mask on, you know what else makes it hard to breathe? A fucking ventilator.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, so no, I think my favorite one is where I work, and I won't mention where I work in this, but where I work, we have a required mask mandate. You know, if you're in a public place, you have to wear a mask. And so there was a guy that was not wearing a mask that went to get on the elevator, and the guy that was in the elevator shoved him back. And so the guy that didn't have the mask threw his drink into the face of the guy that was wearing his mask.
As one does.
And I was like, yes, this is,
It's the classy way.
you know.
Yeah.
I went on a huge diatribe last night with some friends of mine about the fact of, you know, like,
I just really want to do that to somebody.
I think that the problem that we, and this will probably lead into what we actually came on to talk about, but I think that the problem with the pandemic in America, because everybody was talking about how the government representatives in New York, like on March 2nd, de Blasio told people to go out and watch a movie. Like, okay.
Yeah.
He did. Okay. On March 2nd, I will fully admit that on March 2nd, Bill de Blasio told people in New York to go out and watch a movie. This was after 2 months of the White House saying, it's going to be gone. It's going to go away in April. We've got it under control. It's okay. Nothing wrong. Nothing to see here. Nothing. So, do you think that perhaps the people in New York were taking their cue from the White House saying, nothing wrong here. Nothing to see. Move along.
Quite a few states were.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Quite a few states still are. They
Yeah.
have-
Oh God. Don't. Yeah. But anyway. So. So yeah.
Tennessee government or lack thereof.
Yeah, you've got to realize.
And did you notice that there was kind of under the door that the White House sent to the governor of Tennessee, you need to put a mask
Yeah.
mandate in place.
They weren't really out there with that,
Yeah,
but it was said.
It was very under the door, and
And
nobody
that's,
caught it.
that's another thing. A lot of people who might be like watching us thinking, boy, some of these people y'all are talking about sure do sound like fucking idiots. We live in the southeastern United States. It's like the idiocy capital of the world.
Can't help themselves.
They
Yeah.
So Chattanooga, Tennessee is right on the border of Georgia and Tennessee. And we are both, like, Georgia, Alabama, which is also very close by, and Tennessee
Tennessee.
are, like, the worst hotspots.
Yeah.
Because everybody refuses to cooperate.
In terms of idiocy,
one!
it's for real.
It's like the one time we're number one is because of fucking COVID.
It's like the
Oh my
states.
God.
Hey, we're fighting the ball.
hey,
winning.
Since
Yeah,
my
the Bulls
balls
are
can
winning.
win, so here we are.
Alabama's number one in poverty, I think.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, they are.
Suck on that.
Yeah,
Logan.
and that's the thing. In terms of state stupidity, like Alabama's
Go
number
Bulls.
one, Georgia's number two, and
Say we're
Tennessee's
gonna
number
go
three.
Jars.
Arkansas is 49th in education.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I honestly
Really,
thought
it's not
that.
Kentucky anymore.
Yeah, it's not
Nice.
Kentucky. Arkansas is 49th in education after Bill Clinton took it up from 50 to 49. That was his big achievement in Arkansas.
Oh my gosh.
Not they're just.
Now, does
Sorry.
that mean that they got better or that the 50th state got worse?
I'm gonna think that the
wondering.
50th state got worse. That's
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Did we improve? Barely.
Barely.
We'll call
we
it
bought
a
microscopes.
bit.
That's what happened. We bought microscopes.
It was like that, and it went like that.
They finally upgraded from those old colorful Mac computers they bought in 1998.
The Apple IIe's.
This computer doesn't make a sound when you turn it on.
But it's bright blue and see-through.
Hey, what does your 8-year-old boy do in the computer lab at his school? He plays the Oregon Trail.
Lord.
Oh, you mean the new one that's in color? No, it's just green lines on the screen. He keeps dissing Terry, and Terry kills him.
On that note,
Yeah.
And they weren't even talking about Oregon Trail at that point.
You're right. Oh, Lord. Okay.
Okay, so why are we here?
that's a great question. I'm
Oh,
wondering that
well,
myself.
see, Lonnie, in the beginning, there was a fundamental
That's-
force of the universe that decided... Oh, wait,
that's a
went
little
now.
too deep
Okay.
for this channel.
You went now. Okay,
Um,
sorry.
So, okay,
Why
like,
are we here?
for real though,
I've been wondering that myself.
you know, it's like, you see like the title down there, Untitled Nerd Network endorses a candidate for U.S. President. We are here to endorse Donald Trump. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
going to ask you to rip his testicles
I
off,
know.
I don't want to touch his testicles.
Oh, well.
That's like $200.
That's something
at
you
least.
hear a lot, right? Oh, okay.
Don't tell him a fucking price.
He's going through his
Yeah, ask me for money in a minute, and I'm gonna be like,
See my
God
wallet?
damn it,
What'd you say?
apply
bad
for it.
motherfucker. Okay.
Alright, we'll talk
so,
after the
okay.
show. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Shit,
Okay.
I just opened my Coke and I
Just
can't drink it
kidding.
because
Be
I'm wearing a
hard,
fucking
be
mask.
hard.
What the hell?
So, no, for real. Untitled Nerd Network, and we're going to have, I'm sure, a lengthy discussion about this and some of the kind of pros and cons, because no endorsement is a complete, foolproof, like, decision. It's not. There's always going to be some flaws there. You know, some are more flawed than others. But anyway, Untitled Nerd Network, and I've been batting this around for, God, we've been talking about, what, 6 months? Or however long
We've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah. I started to not do it, and then I wanted to do it, and then I didn't want to do it, and it was just going back and forth, and then I was like, you know what?
So you were the Ross Perot at that point.
Well, we've done so many advocacy, you know, we've done so much between, I mean, hell, I was getting death threats for supporting Black Lives Matter on the page.
Oh, dear Lord.
I had to, like,
Yeah.
change my name online for 6 months, and, you know, probably going to have to do it again here in a little bit, but,
For a while.
yeah,
Yeah.
but,
Like 4
we
years.
we have
4 years.
we have supported so many left-leaning initiatives and just
Ideologies.
issues, yeah, that it doesn't make sense for us not to take this next step. And for that reason, who are we endorsing for president, Mark?
Joe Biden.
Yes. Now, there was some kind of discussion amongst us. Number one, I have had a lot of people who were very vocal on the page who were just horribly offended. Well, first off, we've gotten rid of most of the Trump supporters. Because
They
you
weeded
see
themselves
many of
out.
them, you know.
the Trump supporters are not... It got to the point where if you're going to be... You know who the person is voting for if they get on there and talk pro-racism or anti-woman or God, I'm
Anti-Mark.
anti. But yeah, basically any
Anti-PC culture.
yeah,
Yeah.
anything like that. If they're
Because-
anti anything, you know who they vote for.
Right.
You know, like you don't. And they're like, "Oh, you don't know who I vote for?" Yes, I do. you
If
know,
not, you can easily go to their profile and
Just
see
click
it.
on your profile and
Right,
you can see it.
because you know the page allows us to do that. It allows us to go look at personal profiles of people that say stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and there's usually a bunch of Trump bullshit on there. So
Almost.
if it's not in their profile picture,
And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and kind of sort of start this because like Lonnie was saying, it's a pro and con kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe Biden was not my first choice.
oh, he was
Okay.
not mine either.
Personally, my first choice out of the list of candidates that we had was Elizabeth Warren. And then after she dropped, it went to Buttigieg. And then, then we had Biden. And somebody asked the other day, one of my friends asked me the other day, why are you voting for Biden? Is it just because you hate Trump so badly? And I'll get back to that. The answer that I came up with is it's the difference between eating a pile of shit and eating a shit sandwich. At least with the shit sandwich, I have the bread and the mayonnaise to disguise the taste of the shit.
I don't know if I'm going to go quite that far on it.
But I can.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know,
I'm
I
thinking
mean,
maybe
It was rough, but I
Yeah.
agree with it.
yeah, we'll get out there eventually. I think.
you know, it's as far as the hatred for Donald Trump goes, it's the fact that he has absolutely no empathy or no compassion as a human being.
Yeah.
And the fact that I listened to conservative radio just so that I could be informed on what they're doing and what they're saying. So I was listening to a radio show on the way over here, and I love the fact that there was this conservative guy ranting about how he doesn't want to hear what entertainers and actors want to say about politics, but he elected one. That's the
God,
hypocrisy of
yeah.
it. We don't want to hear what you entertainers, you actors want to say about politics, but hey, Donald Trump, he's my guy. That's just the hypocrisy that is inherent in that statement alone annoys the hell out of me.
It's not that they don't want to hear from entertainers. It's the
They don't
fact.
want to hear the opposite of what they believe.
Yes, and
Right.
most
That's what that boils
entertainers
down
are.
to, though.
Dare
Yeah.
you disagree with me?
Yeah,
they're
that's
mostly
exactly it.
they're inherently liberal, whereas they'll at the same time they'll give a handy to Tim Allen.
Right.
You know.
But I mean, it's the way they phrase it. Like he was talking about Barbra Streisand. He goes, "You're a great actress, you're a great entertainer, but I don't want to hear your views on politics." Donald Trump is a con man and a reality show star, and you elected him president.
Yep.
Right.
Here's a really good.
Not even a good businessman either. He
Well,
was a much more successful TV personality than he ever was a businessman.
Yep.
I will agree with that.
Absolutely.
I'll.
But that's because somebody else was actually running the show in the background.
Right.
That's right.
And here's
Here, just say this.
They were just like, "You're the face of the show. We're going to do all the stuff in the background."
Yeah.
Here, like I was already energized to a certain point about this, and I'll be completely honest. I've been pro Bernie Sanders since 2016, and
Yeah, Bernie was on my short list too.
yeah, I'm like it has been pretty rough, and I'm not happy with the way that turned out. But, and I think we actually posted a meme about this not long ago. It has been such a struggle because a lot of people were like, why don't you create a third party? And I'll be honest, I voted third party in 2012. I voted for Gary Johnson. Looking back, probably not the smartest idea, but because I've noticed that probably over the past 10 years, the Libertarian Party has become just as crazy as the Republicans. But,
That's fair.
but they,
Hello.
but everybody just kind of said to hell with creating a third party because this country is so two-party minded that it'll never get off the ground. I'm sorry if we have because we've had a lot of people in our comment section that has been like, why don't we vote for, who is it, Joe Jorgensen?
Yeah, we have a lot
Yeah.
of Joe Jorgensen fans.
And they're like, she can make it. She's polling at like 4% or 5% or whatever. And
She's
I'm
not
like,
on enough ballots.
No, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not a high enough percentage.
And I'm like, no. If she was polling at 25 or 30%, okay, let's talk. But I'm not gonna try to prove a point this year because I tried to prove a point in 2016 by writing in Bernie Sanders, and look where we're at. We ended up getting 4 years of like fascist hell.
I voted for Gary Johnson in 2016. So
Here we
I
are.
actually had a strong statement about the third party. Is like not only is there the small percentage, but and now I lost it because Bonnie was talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I didn't want to interrupt you. But if you start out by saying if you want to vote with third party, please vote for third party in your local elections.
Yes.
In your state elections, in your county elections, all of that. Maybe even run for office. There's a lot of uncontested local positions. There's a lot of open positions on the ballot locally here. I'm sure that's the case in many places, that there's just the one person that's been running and they just get it by default. or like everybody just writes somebody in, and you never know who's gonna get the nomination. So like, please, 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 if you support the third party cause, vote in all of your local elections. Vote in every election every time you can.
Yep.
Yeah, they happen yearly. Sometimes.
And you know
Sometimes, yeah, even more than
and
once a year.
run. Like, if you feel compelled, if you feel qualified in any way, run. It's not hard.
It's really not.
I did it.
For local off, like,
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I've actually contemplated running for the local office in where I'm at, and may actually do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Start it next year.
and again, like, there's some things, like, you may just get it just by default because nobody is running against you.
That's happened.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
read stories.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not joking, not exaggerating, 100% serious.
And to back up what Clockwork was saying, you know, vote. You know, like, that's one of the inherent rights that we have in this country is to vote. And
For most people.
you know, while we are sitting here endorsing a candidate, I will never tell someone how to vote.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that if you do not vote, you do not have you shouldn't have the balls to complain about what happens after the election if you did not take part in it. And vote by mail, vote by, vote in person, vote by absentee ballot, vote by whatever you feel especially this year, whatever is the most comfortable for you. There are states that have been doing mail-in ballots for 10 years. They've had no problems. So all of the rhetoric and the hype that there is fraud inherent in mail-in voting is a lie. There's states that have been doing it for a decade. No problems. I think there was something that said in the past 25 years, there have been a report out of the millions and millions and millions of ballots that are cast every year. In the past 25 years, there have been a total of 2,000 and some change reported incidents of voter fraud out of hundreds of millions of votes. And out of those 2,000 some odd incidences, only 60 of them were confirmed that they were actually voter fraud. So voter fraud is not some big, huge thing that's going on.
It's conspiracy.
If you go to your polls and there's somebody there before you walk in that door, if there's somebody outside of the place asking you to show your ID. Now, when I went, they asked me if I had my ID, that's fine. But if they ask you to show your ID before you get in the door, tell them to fuck the hell off. Because
Seriously.
they are not an official. So, don't fall for voter intimidation. If you go to the polls and they tell you that your name's not on the your name's on the not on the register or whatever, stand there and demand a provisional ballot until they give you one, because it is your right to have one. Do not let them let you leave without getting your voice heard.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to rant.
That's
I did remember my point that I was going to bring up, and that is a lot of places do have closed ballot. It's like you have to be registered Democrat or registered Republican in order to, well, not in order to vote, but you have to choose a Democrat or Republican ballot. And so your third party voters, what do you do then? You can't vote for your third party.
This is true. Tennessee's like that because in the preliminaries and in the primaries, when I went to vote, it was do you want the Democratic ballot or do you want the Republican ballot?
And you don't even have the option.
Okay, well,
really.
what about the people in the middle? But,
right. And in addition to that, the third party vote, and somebody can fact check me on that, but I believe that the third party vote historically has not done anything but divide the liberal vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The conservatives are going to
Yes.
stay
Yeah.
conservative with the conservative vote no matter what. They don't care. They are willing to prioritize their finances over civil rights issues. They are willing to look and see what is going to be the best for them personally and fuck everybody else. So I believe in the third party cause, but I don't believe it's a cause that is going to make a meaningful movement in the next 2 weeks.
Right.
and to back up what Clockwork was saying there as well, the third party cause won't really gain any traction on a national level until it starts to take a cement on the state level and on the county level and on the local level.
But it
So-
starts local.
Yeah, it has to. You have to start local. You have to start grow the independent movement in your state, grow the independent movement in your county, and then that way, when it comes to the national election, you can go, hey, I've got this independent candidate who's been on the state legislature for 10 years, you know, let's run them for president.
And do we even have any independent representatives or senators?
In the national, Bernie Sanders is listed as an independent.
Is he?
Well, he's Democrat now.
He's Democrat.
No, he's still listed as an independent.
Is he?
Really?
Yep. He is still listed as independent. Hang on a second.
Well, maybe in his Senate race, but when he runs for president, he ran under the Democrat.
He ran as a Democrat, but
yeah, he's always been an independent. But here's the thing, the big thing, and it was like we were sharing earlier, is instead of making a third party, a lot
there's
of
a
the
few.
further left, by American standards anyway, a lot of the further left individuals, instead of creating a third party, decided to basically reshape the Democrat Party, because that's a lot easier than trying to start something from scratch. And it's worked so far, because now, just over the past 4 years, the Democratic platform has just morphed into something completely different than what it was in like 2010.
Well, you also have to remember, back after the civil rights movement started, the Democratic and the Republican parties flipped.
Yeah.
Like, there actually used to be liberal conservatives, or
That's why you have people
liberal
now
Republicans and
who-
conservative
Who
Democrats.
come up and say, like, well, the Democrats created the KKK.
Yeah, in
No.
1865.
But
Before
after
they switched
after
platforms.
the Civil Rights Act passed, it flopped.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that.
There used to be
See,
Democratic
our
Republicans,
nerddom doesn't
too.
just cover geeky fan stuff; it covers politics too. It's a broad range of nerddom here at UNN.
We are well-rounded nerds.
I do
Oh.
want to discuss what I feel like we have a responsibility.
Right.
While we are endorsing Joe Biden, I do want to make it a point to mention some of the bad things and why I personally am going to vote for him despite these bad things. We've seen, and people, the Trump voters, despite the mountain of bullshit that Trump has against him.
Oh my god.
I mean, how many adult film stars has he paid off? How
None that
many
we know
rape
of.
accusations?
23.
How many recorded things from him where he's admitted to like peeking on underage girls at
At
beauty
least
pageants? Dozens and dozens,
They were
even
like,
hundreds.
Look, Biden's leaning over that girl.
Yeah. And Biden's leaning
Which-
over,
and
making
the
her
funny
feel
part, the funny
uncomfortable.
part is all the Biden stuff. One of those instances where, and it's a really severely edited video where it's the girl in the black and white dress. That's his granddaughter, and they were at his son's funeral. So
Well,
I mean,
and also there's
you know.
a huge difference between getting a little close to some people, maybe getting a little handsy, and like tongue kissing your daughter open mouth on national television.
Wait, what the fuck?
dude,
100%, 100%. No
Dude,
exaggeration. He's got to look now.
Yeah, he's got to look
It's
this up. He gotta see it.
bragging about walking into teen beauty pageants while the girls are dressing.
saying that if your daughter wasn't your daughter, you'd probably date her,
Yep.
And
he-
who?
God knows what he's done to her
dude.
that we'll never
You know
hear.
what? So here's the
I don't
thing,
even
and,
wanna
and,
know.
and I would hate to think anything
Being
bad
huge
about.
buddy with Epstein,
Epstein,
and
yeah.
I know Democrats are not exempt from that, and fuck them for doing that too.
So
So-
here's an interesting thing.
I'm
So
sorry if I'm dropping
who
too
thinks?
No, we're
so,
good.
so let's go back to
Impassioned.
the White. Let's go back to the White. Let's go back to when the COVID hit the White House and the whole the whole super spreader event that they had.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I personally think he's sleeping with Hope Hicks.
I don't know who he'll pick. So
She was the first one that got it. She's the aide that and so and I will cover this like I have no proof of
And-
this. I have nothing to back it up. But she was the first person that got it.
Mhm.
Plus, there's apparently some body double of Ivanka that's going around right now. Have y'all seen that?
Melania.
Melania, who looks a lot like Hope Hicks. And then there's that picture of him and Hope as they're walking out of the White House, and he's kind of got his hand in her hand, and she's smiling all big.
Meanwhile, every time there's there's video of him and Melania, it's
She's
like,
pulling her hand away from him.
That's
It's
how
great.
we'll know the difference. Like,
Yeah.
that's for her.
Yeah.
Pulling her hand away.
she's a terrible actor.
Oh, good grief. Yeah.
And like for the record, I don't personally care. Like, I don't care what any adult person does with another consenting adult person. I don't care who paid who to have sex with them. I don't care what Melania did in her modeling career before she became first lady. Like, everybody is a consenting adult and they can do what they want with their own bodies, but that's consenting adults.
Yep.
And I'm going to say across the board for both parties, I'm not going to drag up something on Trump. Like, I don't care that he had sex with the porn star. What does that matter?
Yeah, lucky.
You know,
Right.
like, the only time I will bring something like that up is when they're like, oh, Bill Clinton did that thing with the intern.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but wasn't she also an adult? I mean, like, you could say he was in a position of power over her, and that's not okay. But,
I mean, yeah.
like,
Like everybody's getting laid in Washington.
it's not new. It happens all the time. I used to live in Washington. There's always a scandal. Like,
We're in Washington. Call in. We want to know.
But here's another thing.
Which one of you is sleeping with
Call in
Lindsey
now.
Graham?
We're all like, everybody's adults. Everybody has needs. Everybody has things that they like to do because they're taboo or whatever. But, like, I'm honestly tired of people getting drugged through the mud for having sex with other adults.
Now, I will say,
Fornicator.
I was actually reading an article today. I think it was like South Carolina or something. South Carolina, North Carolina, one of the races that's going on. Some Democratic senator, somebody had an affair with somebody else, and I think they did a poll and found that like 81% of voters now do not give a flying rat's ass if somebody had an affair. Like, nobody cares anymore. They're like, look,
Because they'll do it.
look at what we have in the White House,
Right.
and look at everybody. Yeah, I mean,
It's very rare that you have a politician who's like faithful to their spouse.
yeah.
You know,
And
I
think
mean,
about
and that started with, I think that really started with John F. Kennedy, because like
Oh,
Jackie
no.
knew
It's been going
Jackie
on.
knew he was sleeping with everybody, and she didn't care. Like she
And-
was still just like the prime example of what a first lady should be. I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Here's one. Okay, what political party basically drags the gay and lesbian community through the mud? Republicans.
Republicans.
What party do
I'm
most?
surprised under this mask.
Whenever you like find out that a politician has been caught in the bathroom
With
somebody
someone
of the
of the same sex, it's usually a Republican.
Republicans.
Well, that's just guilt right there.
Because they're closeted.
It's
yeah.
closeted guilt. That's all
And
it is.
guess what? There's
Yeah.
a world where you can be open and honest with yourself, and you don't have to hide in the bathroom unless you're into that.
And that's run by Democrats.
Thanks.
That
That's
world.
the future liberals want.
That
Ladies and
That
gentlemen,
is
we give you
exactly-
Pete Buttigieg. That was the one that got me. I was just happy to see someone who was openly homosexual running for president.
Oh, and
Yeah.
then a lot of the Republicans were calling him Pete Buttplug.
Yeah.
Well, and
that-
then-
Like, yeah.
Dude, no, my
okay.
favorite thing right now is
Well,
watching
and then-
him go on Fox and destroy Fox. Like, have you been watching that? Like,
I've heard.
they brought him on Fox and they were talking about something like, you know, I forget exactly what it was, but Pete was like, well, if you want to talk about family values, you're talking about the Republican Party who has hitched themselves to a man who's committed who that we know has committed 3 adulteries, paid off a porn star, you know, and he just destroyed them on live
Yeah.
TV. It was beautiful.
And that's the thing. Nobody would care if they didn't go around preaching family values all the time.
Right.
You know, it's like
Well-
you can't have your cake and eat it too in that situation. You got to pick a lane.
Well,
The thing that kills me is the people that vote for Trump because they're anti-abortion.
Oh my god.
oh,
Like-
don't get me started.
I would love to see the numbers on how many abortions he's paid for.
Right,
Oh, wait,
exactly.
hang on, wait. I'm so glad you said it that way. Speaking of numbers, ladies and gentlemen, if you would
Goodness.
go and grab your Bible, the book of Numbers
Oh,
has
goodness.
explicit instructions on how the church is to perform an abortion.
Alright.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
skip-
So
Yeah.
Numbers, I think it's chapter 13. I think it's chapter 13. It starts at about verse 11 or whatever. So the way that it actually works is clockwork. Let's say you and I are in a relationship, okay? And I think that you have. And I know. Gee, thanks. I appreciate that. You could have at least said, okay, cool. But and I think
The drama.
I, as the man in the relationship, think that you have, and this is in the Bible.
The man.
I think you've slept with Lonnie. I can take
That's
you.
just as preposterous
It's
as
not a
that.
fucking stretch at all.
I can take you to the church. I can tell the priest. I can tell the
It's even worse.
priest.
It's worse
Hang
for
on,
all.
hang on, hear me out. I can tell the priest that you have been unfaithful to me. The priest will perform a ceremony and have you drink this liquid. And if you have been unfaithful, you will miscarry the child that you had with Lonnie.
That's
Did they have vasectomies back in the olden days?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Nah.
But I
No,
mean,
but you
but
can-
that's
you can
so like
always-
anybody who
yeah.
wants to bring up
Medicinal
like
abortion,
you know
even if they
God
have
is against
centuries.
killing children. Point out Numbers, and then point out all the times that God commanded the army of Israel to go into a city and rip the children from the wombs of the mothers, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Kill yourself.
there is
Just
no
kidding.
Well, it's not a happy story.
yeah.
no, it's not.
Well, and also the Old Testament Bible is a completely different book from the New Testament Bible. It's a
It
completely
is.
different God. It's a completely different God.
Or what about the one where the father couldn't have children or something?
And so
And
the
the
daughters,
daughters,
the
yeah.
daughters, no, the mother,
Yeah.
no, the wife had died, so the daughters slept with him so that they could continue the bloodline.
That
There's
wasn't
also
that
things
the,
of like if your husband dies, you should sleep with his brother to continue his bloodline and various things like that.
Yeah.
well, the whole thing about
But-
sleeping with your daughter, wasn't that in The Art of the Deal?
Yeah. He'd like it to be.
Woo! Anyway,
Right, where were we?
Something about abortion,
Abortion,
and
yeah.
which actually leads to an interesting situation. Thanks to the 2016 election, we are now in a position where we have a Republican-controlled all three major branches of the federal government
and the Supreme Court is 6-3 right now, conservative.
because Trump
And
just
will
got
be.
his appointment
So,
in.
Not to
Just
mention the Republicans are hypocritical pieces of shit because they wouldn't confirm Obama's
yeah.
nomination in 2016, but now we've confirmed
Yep.
here.
And guess what? Our lovely chair of the Senate, McConnell.
McConnell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say
The
his
Senate
name out
Majority
loud. It
Leader.
makes me sick. Our lovely Senate Majority Leader decided to keep the Senate open just long enough to get that passed and shut it down just in time to shut down any further discussions about
yeah.
COVID relief
Yep.
Yeah.
Until November 9th.
until November.
Open. Close it.
Yep.
So
He's got to go on vacation.
Priorities. You
So
know, his
yeah, the priorities was not the American people. The priorities was pushing their agenda.
And I was also going to say, abortion has been a hot button issue as far as I can remember in elections, and nobody has really made any major laws regarding it one way or the other.
Yeah.
Despite having Republican-controlled or House and Senate and executive branch, despite having a majority, well, I guess they didn't have a majority.
And the reason for that is
Supreme
Roe
Court.
versus Wade.
Right.
Roe versus Wade. Every time that they try to put through a law, Roe versus
Right.
the Supreme Court goes, no, this is unconstitutional.
So my point here being, if you're a single issue voter and your single issue is abortion, find a new topic.
I have something I want to add to that. If you're a single issue voter and you're a male and your issue is abortion, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
Here-
find a new topic.
No,
Yeah.
because here's my personal theory about abortion.
Mhm.
I will never get pregnant. I will
Mhm.
never have to face that decision. I have absolutely no say in what a woman does with her body. So as a male, I should have no voice on the topic of abortion whatsoever. And I think that if they are going to pass legislation on abortion, there should be some sort of Supreme Court ruling that says the only people that can have any say in that legislation are female.
That's never gonna happen.
It
But
won't
it's a nice
happen,
idea.
but that's
It's
how it
a
needs to work.
nice
It's a nice
thought.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Appreciate
know,
that.
I like,
It's cute.
because
Oh, that's sweet.
it goes back to
That is cheap.
the lies that the late term abortions, they'll let you have an abortion
Oh my
what's the
God.
bullshit lie now,
No.
2 weeks after the baby's born. Okay, first off,
No.
technically, by definition, childbirth is aborting a pregnancy.
Yeah,
Okay,
A miscarriage
you have
is
aborted
aborting
the
a pregnancy.
Yeah.
but
because all abortion is the termination of a pregnancy, whether that's
Right.
by birth or
Right.
medical intervention.
So, but the
Yeah.
thing of it is that the majority of the late-term abortions, which are the ones that are the supposedly the hot topic, the majority of those, I think it's like 85% of late-term abortions, were going to kill the mother.
Right.
Okay.
And a lot of them, the fetus is already dead.
Yeah.
And the purpose of the procedure at that point is to remove it so it doesn't, like you said, kill the mother.
Yeah. It's
But yeah. So, but again, like, Roe v. Wade has not been overturned. Hopefully it will continue to not be overturned, although that is a bigger concern now than it has been. Especially with all of the various shenanigans the state governments have pulled over the last couple of
dear
years.
God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if that's your one issue, vote
Move on.
Democrat.
Right.
Vote Democrat. Like, honestly. And even if you are, like, from a nonpartisan perspective, completely changing topics, historically, the economy has always done the best when the legislative and executive branches are opposing parties.
But also going back to what you're saying, also the abortion rates tend to drop when we have a Democratic majority.
Right, because
In
we
Washington.
care about things like education and science and medical care.
So
and
if you want
things like
abortion
that.
rates to go down, vote Democrat.
And please support sex ed in schools.
Oh God. yes.
Please, yeah.
Jeez.
You know what's sad is a lot of gay and lesbian couples are rushing right now to get married before the election
Just in case. Yeah.
because they're afraid that they're going to strike
That's so
down marriage
sad.
equality.
Yeah.
Really sad.
And we have a vice president that's pro
Pro
conversion
conversion
therapy.
therapy.
Yep.
Yes.
Which, if you don't know about that, people will say they don't do electroconvulsive therapy anymore. That's not true.
That's a lie.
They still do it.
Yeah.
It is usually for severe mental health cases where, like, they've tried everything and it hasn't helped. But there are still facilities in the United States that use electroconvulsive therapy as an emergency mental health care measure, and in many cases, treatment for, like, in a lot of very conservative families and circles, homosexuality is considered a mental illness that needs to be
Being trans is
treated.
considered-
And it was one of the
Being
reasons that the
trans,
lobotomy was
yeah.
invented.
Yep.
You know how, like, the people that are like, oh, if you allow gay marriage, next thing you know, it's going to be bestiality, that kind of crap.
Oh God. I
Well,
hate that
think
shit.
about
Yeah.
this though. Like, if you don't allow gay marriage, the slippery slope is suddenly you're not going to allow premarital sex. You're not going to
Yep.
allow anything that you just don't agree with. Next thing you know, it'll be interracial marriage.
Yep.
And it's
I've also seen a meme that we're going to talk about memes here for a second. Where it's a good sign if somebody sees gay marriage as a slippery slope to having sex with animals or incest or whatever. It's a good sign that they view marriage as a dynamic between a man and his sex object and
Yep.
not a loving relationship between two consenting adults.
Yeah, I
Yep.
saw that, and it's
Oh, that's
very
nice.
true.
I like that.
Very,
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah, marriage isn't just about sex.
Yeah.
Mainly because after you get married, sex tends to go away. I speak from two experiences.
And also getting down in the nitty gritty. That's also saying that infertile
Yeah.
couples are not valid marriages.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's plenty of straight couples with infertility problems. So what? They can't reproduce. Is their valid marriage not valid? Like, are we gonna ban marriage for them?
look. I'm going to go ahead and say a lot of these more conservative states that want to ban gay marriage still allow cousin marriage.
Gross.
Yeah.
Arkansas, we're talking to you.
Alabama.
Alabama.
I think in most states it's legal to marry your second cousin.
Hey, in wait,
It is
hang
in
on.
Tennessee as long as you
In
can't reproduce.
Tennessee, it is more. Wait, what? No, God, wait, I lost it. There's one state where it is more illegal to have sex with a man than it is to have sex with a horse. I can't remember the state.
That sounds
But
like
it's
Arkansas.
somewhere down in this area.
Yeah, it does.
Mississippi.
The one,
Anyways.
if you're going to go off on just weird laws, and this is on a completely different tangent, but I've always wanted to test this one. So in Oklahoma, the law is that if you're in jail, when you get out of jail, they have to either give you a bus fare to get out of the city, or a horse.
Ooh,
I want to go to
horse.
Oklahoma, get arrested for drunk driving, go to jail for the weekend, come out and go,
I
I
want a
want my horse.
I don't
Right?
think
And then I'm going to go sell that horse.
Oh my god.
I don't think
No,
you can pick.
I just want the horse.
No, you get to choose. You can ask them for bus fare out of the city or a horse, which you then have to use to leave the city. And if you ask for a horse, they are required by law to give you a horse, complete with full tank.
I don't even know.
You need to stick a GoPro on somebody and be like, "Ask for a horse."
Oh, God.
I want to do that.
In
That would
Kentucky,
be great.
it's illegal to carry an ice cream cone in your pocket.
Oh golly, yeah. No, my favorite one was for years. For years, you could go to hotels, like you could go to hotels, and on the back of the hotel door, it would have silhouettes of all the sexual positions that were illegal in that state.
Cool.
Interesting.
And I'm like, how do you expect me to explain this to my 7-year-old? Like I think it is morally. I think it is more of a moral imperative that you don't have to explain that to my 7-year-old than for you to have to explain to me what is not legal.
There's
Yeah.
also states that have stupid rules, like you can't have sex with the lights off or on, or like,
Now you're gonna make me look this up.
There's one here. You
Tangent.
can't shoot an animal from your car, but you can harpoon a whale. In Tennessee. I
there's so
think,
many
too.
whales in Tennessee.
Yeah, but I don't know if it still is a law, but it wasn't.
Oh, that's weird.
No,
I think, I
That's
think they,
crazy.
most of those things just stay because they don't care enough to go through the effort to repeal it.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting one. So
Well,
before
let's get
back
back
when
on
I didn't have my driver's license, I walked everywhere I went, and there was this horse field that I passed all the time, and there's a sign on the horse field that says, any injury that happens during an equestrian act is not the fault of the owner of the equine.
Okay.
To which I called the cops and I was like, so basically what this says is that if I were to steal a horse, which would be classified as equestrian theft, and the owner of that horse shot me, he's not responsible for it. He goes, that is exactly what it means.
Alright,
Well, we got about 5 minutes.
that was quite
5
a tangent.
minutes. Yeah.
So let's do an on topic 5 minutes.
On topic. Okay, another thing I've seen about Biden is people complaining how long he's been in politics. And
47
why
years.
he's just now. Well, what does it matter?
It takes you a while to
You
work
can't
your
just
way
be
up the
like, I'm
ladder.
going to run for president tomorrow. Right.
Well,
Look,
no,
I'm-
you can't.
I'm
Although
gonna
you should
be-
be able
Although
to.
it kind of looked like one person did.
I'm gonna be the first
Just walk
person.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind
technically
of
you can.
did. You know, just waltz in
He was
there.
just
Like,
like, hey.
technically you really can. It just hasn't been done recently.
Well, you
I'm,
can, but you have to have money to do it.
But
Yeah.
still,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Exactly.
You can't
Well-
hold it against him for not right.
But in theory,
You didn't
anyone,
care about the country 10 years ago.
in theory, anyone who meets the age requirement and who's born in the country should be able to run for president.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the first one to say that I personally am one of those many people who are so tired of having nothing but 70-plus-year-old white men to vote for president.
Yeah.
Oh, I personally
Just
think
tired of it.
So I think that would be fixed if we put term limits in place.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
I mean, literally, they put term limits in place for the president,
For everybody,
but
including Supreme Court justices,
So-
I think.
Yep. 100%.
I can accept
no.
the Supreme Court being a lifetime appointment. However, there's nothing in the Constitution that says there can only be 9 people on the Supreme Court. So,
Yeah.
you know, we can expand that or contract that however we want to.
I'm 100% in
Um,
favor of packing the court. Now.
But first off, we got to get rid of gerrymandering. I mean, if we're going to fix the country, we got to get rid of gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering is insane.
I watched a documentary last night on Hulu called Slay the Dragon. Watch it. It's interesting. It's about gerrymandering. It's how the people in Minnesota, Minnesota, got rid of gerrymandering in Minnesota.
Nice.
How they pretty much made an amendment to the Minnesota state constitution.
Saying that he can't.
Saying that, so up until then, the legislature of the state was in charge of gerrymandering. So if the legislature was all Republican, they could draw the lines as Republican as they wanted to. And in back in 2001, the last time they drew the lines, which it's done every 10 years, they drew it in such a way that no matter how many Democrats went and voted, they had no representation whatsoever. And so
That's why it happens.
now they've made it an amendment to the state constitution that the district lines will be drawn by an impartial committee of civilians, 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, 5 independents.
Well,
So
They-
so that's cool.
interesting fact: there is a font of gerrymandered districts
That's
because the gerrymandering is so insane that you can create an
Yep.
entire font out of it.
messed up. I need to
Yeah.
look at that. But we need term limits, and I personally think it should be limited to about 20 years. So if you can do 8 years as president, the other, 12 years, so 6 years in Congress, 6 years in the Senate, 8 years as president, you're done. That's it. Go away.
Thank you.
No retirement
Yes.
package.
Thank you for your service.
Here's your gift basket.
Goodbye.
Yes.
No retirement package. These people get a retirement package that's better than what I make a year.
We'll give you 1 gold bar from
You know,
Fort Knox.
they
Since
may-
we don't
they're-
practice the gold standard anymore.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, considering that the Federal Reserve just prints money with nothing to back it up right now.
Right.
But and I also think that the median income of Congress should come down, because right now a first-year congressman makes $143,000 with a $40,000 stipend for furniture.
I think they ought to
For
make
furniture?
the.
For furniture?
For furniture.
I think they ought to make the
And they
median.
can't raise the fucking minimum wage.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
I personally think that they ought to.
There's homeless people. I need furniture.
However much
I
the
would
median.
literally stab someone to make 40K a year.
You're right.
I think however much the median
That.
amount made in your district is how much you should make.
Well, see and then that takes back to the other problem of the people who are in Congress right now. Like everybody says, put Congress on minimum wage for a month and let's watch the minimum wage laws change. Don't want.
No.
These fuckers are already rich.
Yeah, they have
Right.
a nest egg.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're just using their congressional money to fund their nest egg and to fund their campaigns.
Yep.
That's all they're using
Yep.
it for. So that's not going to do it.
And to get in good with Monsanto and Big Pharma and all of that various
Oh,
bullshit.
good lord. Yeah.
That's all we're gonna say about that.
Okay, so we are at the end. I want to go
We
around
just
really
got
quick.
here.
I didn't want to have this just drag on for 2
Okay,
hours,
fair
but I want to kind of start and give everybody an opportunity to kind of give a final thought because election day is 1 week from today. So who wants to go
Mark,
first?
you'll probably be the longest. You can go first.
No, mine's simple.
I'm
Vote.
just kidding.
Yeah.
Go out and vote.
Yeah.
Vote whatever method is you feel is the safest for you, but do not deny yourself the right to have your voice heard, no matter what that voice is.
And like she said, starts with the community. Start small, work your way up. Don't just be like, I voted for a president, I'm done.
Yeah, it's not
Research your ballot too. Research your local elections to tag on to that. Research your local elections, but vote.
Right,
Vote.
because some of your two-party local election, local officials are a lot more maybe middle ground or nonpartisan than you might realize.
Oh, exactly. I can speak to that from experience.
Yeah. I would also say, again, third-party vote. This is not the time.
Yeah.
This is not the
Yeah,
election.
it's definitely vote blue no matter who right now. Cause,
Vote blue no matter who.
Yeah.
I wish it
Biden-
was a thing, but it's
Biden
not.
isn't my
Right,
top choice. It's not
realistically.
any of our top choices, I don't think. It's
No.
not even my second, third, or fourth choice.
No.
But
no.
this is where we're at right now. They're scared shitless of voter turnout. They're doing everything that they can to keep you from being able to make it to the polls. Don't let them have that.
Right.
Make sure if you're dropping your ballots off in a box that it's an official box, because I have heard rumors of unofficial
Oregon
boxes
and
popping
Seattle
up.
has unofficial boxes.
Yeah, so make sure that wherever you're dropping your ballot off, if you're doing early voting, is an actual official location. Make lots of time if you're going to the polls on election day, because they are reducing the number of polling places, again, to reduce
Yeah.
the number of people that turn out.
Mm-hmm.
do whatever you got to do to stick it to the old white people.
She's wearing really cute shoes, so she
Yeah.
can do whatever she wants.
But yeah,
Your shoes
That's-
are
that's my
nice,
statement.
but hers are cuter.
vote. Don't let them get away with it.
Amber?
Alright, so
I'm
hard.
easily persuaded.
I guess for me, whenever you go vote, if you haven't voted already, go prepared. My biggest advice: take a bottle of water.
Yeah, go to the
Maybe,
bathroom.
yeah.
maybe take a snack. Go to the bathroom before you get out of the car, or maybe
But not
before
in the
you go.
car.
Yes, not in the car.
Unless
Yeah.
you've got like an RV with a bathroom in it, you know. then-
I have to say,
because
We got in Squatchy and I got to go early and I literally took 10 minutes. It was
Really?
oh god,
Yeah.
for
So,
me, I
Has
went.
everybody voted? Has everybody already voted?
I haven't voted yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How, so it took you 10 minutes? Took me 50.
And I had 3 kids with me and I was like, what?
It-
Usually in Red Bank it takes
No
me about
excuses.
15 minutes or so.
Oh,
Okay.
be careful, because
I'm gonna
hi-
go. I'm gonna make time.
historically, it's only taken me maybe 15, 20 minutes. This year, I showed up the minute the polls opened. There was already about a 200-person line, and it took me right at 2 hours.
How long did
It would have
It
taken
took
me.
me about an hour and a half
Hour and
on
a half.
Saturday.
It would have taken
So,
me
yeah.
about 90 minutes, but I made it all the way up to second in line, and their computers went down.
Of course
yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
I
the
had to-
computers went down.
I had to wait
because
about
there's
20
too-
minutes.
That's what I like about Ottawa. Our ballots are paper ballots in Ottawa, so.
Well, ours are too.
Oh.
And
What?
But,
again,
oh, the little
like,
thing that you slide it into?
Yeah.
Okay.
they're scared shitless because they know big numbers means a big blue percentage.
Yes.
That's exactly
Well,
what it is.
that's what that documentary was saying that I watched the other night. Is more and more that the Republicans are starting to realize that more and more people are being born with a liberal slant. More and more liberals are coming into the voting force than there are conservatives.
Yeah.
And so that's
It's
why
scary
they are
for them,
gerrymandering
yeah.
things the way they are, so that they can keep that liberal voice from being heard.
Right.
And also I just read a news article, I think either today or
Final
yesterday.
thought, and final thought, and final
Yeah.
thought, and final thought.
This is some really good
Yeah, we're
news.
Yeah.
Early
Shut up,
voting
one
is
second.
breaking records right now.
Yeah.
Yep, more
And
people have already voted
They
now than
the
had voted by this time in 2016.
young voters
Oh,
and
yeah, I
black
heard that on the
voters
radio.
are
Yep.
shattering
Thursday.
records. We're talking
yeah.
like 4 times the amount that voted in 2016.
Yeah,
At
they
this
said
point.
If we have
literally
any-
on the radio Thursday, they said 90 million people had already voted, and in the last presidential
It was like
election,
56 million
has,
at
well, they
this
said
point.
130 million total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like for the
Gen
whole
Z.
election, you know.
If we have any Gen Z viewers, I'm proud as hell of y'all. Keep it up.
Right.
Run for president when you're 35. Show them what's up.
Hey Nick, what state do you live in? I'm just curious because he says that when he went to early voting, there was a choice for electronic computer or paper ballots. I'm just curious as to where
Nashville
that was
has electronic computers, I know.
Ours was electric and Dunlap.
at. Okay, so it's
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
We've always
Yeah.
had paper in Red Bank.
Okay, Maryland. So I guess it's
Okay.
just like
Yeah,
county by
'cause
county.
Nashville has the electronic polling thing.
I also wanted to say, if you are someone that doesn't drive or doesn't have a vehicle, look into options because Lyft and Uber and different companies
Yeah.
like that are making rides available to people so they can get to the polls. Like, it is your constitutional right. It is your civic duty. Get there.
Yep. All right, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yay! We actually
Yeah.
made it kind of on time, 5 minutes over, but I think we needed that 5 minutes overtime.
We did good.
All right, final thoughts, everybody? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh Lord.
All right, y'all. Let's see. Anything else I got going on? I don't have anything planned this week, but I'll probably be playing some Mario 35.
We need to
Beyond
start
that,
Malarkey back up soon.
yeah. Beyond that, I
Because I
think
really want
we're
to discuss how disappointed I am that they moved Dune back to next year.
Monday or Tuesdays. We're gonna have to start doing something like that on a regular basis.
Y'all
So,
watch the new Yashahime?
No.
Inuyasha?
so
I don't watch anime.
I don't
No,
know.
I've not
Yeah,
watched it.
person.
No.
All right,
Sorry,
so
I'm
Jordan.
the worst animator.
Wrong
I don't like
nerd
the girly
Yes.
anime.
I'm leaving.
anyway, everybody, I gotta hop down on the floor to turn everything off. But everybody, have a good rest of the night. Vote 7 days from now.
Thanks for listening to us rant.
I blended with the wall.